Hello there everybody, I'm Darryl Griffiths. Welcome to my latest video of film review. I appreciate it has been a while. I hope you've all been very well and enjoyed the last embers of the summer offerings on the big screen this year. Firstly, excuse the film posters that I'm very much engulfed by at the moment. No expense spared or on the production values of this video. But today I'll be reviewing the much anticipated return of a self-confessed spinster and a Helen Fielding creation originally that burst onto our screens in 2001, and we saw her in those red pyjamas busting out to this. And that's as far as I'm going. Lip sync battle I am never doing. But today it is Bridget Jones's Baby. That was the iconic scene that saw Renee Zellweger's spinster status very much affirmed to us. And 12 years on from the fun, if middling sequel, The Edge of Reason, she's back. And for Renee Zellweger, this is her first big screen appearance in I think around 6 years. And as a fan of the actress, it is really wonderful to see her back on our screens. And after all the abuse that she's had in the build-up to the film on her mere appearance, which has been, some of the headlines have been truly despicable, I have to say, and I don't condone it in any shape or form. Her versatility and vulnerability as an actress and her comedic timing, which I think has been very much underappreciated, it was very much on display as she embodied this Bridget Jones character. So where do we find Bridget now in 2016? She's on the brink of her 43rd birthday and has broken up with Mark Darcy, of course played by Colin Firth, a mainstay of the series. And she is trying to pursue her ambitions as a journalist for all her bumbling and farcical nature. As she's progressed in her career, we've had the slowing down a fireman's pole, we've had the Kafka's motorbike incident with Mr. Fitzherbert, or Titspervert, whichever you want to go with. And she is trying to really keep on top of her journalist ambitions, and she is befriended by a very sassy, albeit smutty, character in the form of Miranda, played by Sarah Soleimani, a great addition, by the way. Their camaraderie together is just hilarious to unfold as the film progresses, and she's very much trying to instill in Bridget that, you know, single life isn't all as bad as Bridget makes out, as this whole spinster character that she tries to embrace or instills upon herself and is weighed down by. Miranda tries to break her out of that. But two chance incidents with Mark Darcy and newcomer Patrick Dempsey, of course McDreamy to many, from Grey's Anatomy. He plays Jack Quant, who is he's created an app, and he's obsessed with algorithms and trying to make people meet their soulmate, basically. And of course, the two chance meetings, as you've probably gathered from its title, Bridget falls pregnant, and it's a classic 50-50 love triangle, and who's the father of the baby? And I am relieved to say, for all the excitement that I had as a fan of the character, for 12 years to be away from our screens, you are going to be a tad apprehensive of how the character's progressed and whether it feels too formulaic or too old school in its approach. But thankfully, director Sharon Maguire, who directed the first film, bringing her back, I think is a masterstroke. That she just gets the character and plunges Bridget into this modern world. And it has, the insight is still as sharp and as witty as ever. There's some wonderful social commentary on journalism, for a start, as Bridget's role very much becomes undermined in her field. And in this world where hard-hitting news, and we're bombarded with it a lot of the time, it's juxtaposed with the inane nonsense that befalls a lot of news outlets and websites. like, for example, here we have cats looking like Hitler, which you'd find on probably BuzzFeed or whatever other website that you'd find, with such nonsense. But it becomes quite addictive. But Bridget tries to counterpoint that and tries to instill that if we keep going down this road, you know, the whole business just falls apart. And there's some great lines with that, and some neat incisions made by Maguire through the script. And as it's fiercely feminist once again, there's some wonderful tender moments between Bridget's parents and her screen doctor, Emma Thompson, who has a script writing credit on this film. She's in constant bemusement of Bridget's situation, but there are some wonderfully heart-tugging sequences between them that really do pack a punch. And I think the relationships between Bridget and Mark Darcy, Colin Firth is the quintessential stiff upper lip gentleman on screen. He can make any foul-mouthed tirade sound eloquent, but the camaraderie has not been lost. It has not diminished in any shape or form. Firth is great here, and again, he has some understated comical moments, which I think, again, rather like Zellweger, I don't think he gets enough appreciation for it. I think, and the love and camaraderie between them, it's infectious. But on the flip side, from what could probably be considered the fairy tale ending of this threequel, Patrick Dempsey's Jack Quant has some surprising depth to him, where in a British film you'd have the squeaky clean American, or in American films we'd have the, you know, classic looking Brit that speaks properly with a lot of, you know, diction. But there's some real depth to Jack Quant's character, and it throws up the argument that people who make these apps, like Tinder and all that kind of business, which for me, I just don't believe in it at all. But I appreciate that some people do invest their time and their compatibility and try and work out their compatibility with their soulmate, and that's very much prominent in our modern world. It throws up the argument that people who make these apps, are they as complete or as perfect as they make out to be? And is it false advertising as such? But Dempsey's great, and he throws up sort of a credible, not necessarily a threat, but a alternative for Bridget. And with Zellweger, her performance here, it's easily the most poignant of the three. You can just sense that she's had a tough time away from our screens as well, with all the intense focus that she's had away from it, on being on hiatus. And I think it really does aid her performance here. There's just some wonderful vulnerability about her, but at the same time, for all her ambitions, get my words out, that she had in the first two films, she's still very much the same Bridget, and I think that's the winning quality here. It hasn't, after all these years, tinkered with what makes Bridget appealing to audiences so many years on. And I think her performance here, I hope people just eat their words, because she's had a lot of abuse, and as a fan of the actress, I mean, she's provided some great moments down the years away from Bridget Jones. Chicago, I love that finale with her and Catherine Zeta-Jones as Roxy Hart. I love that. It's just a wonderful moment in the musical genre. Cold Mountain, another example. But her role as Bridget Jones, it's iconic, and the power and the infectious joy that she brings, and the sort of slapstick farcical comedy that is very much apparent within this film once again. It feels as much as a wonderful nostalgia piece of the first two, but it really drives the character forward into a modern world and in the year 2016. And for Bridget Jones's Baby, I have to say, it exceeded my expectations for all my excitement as a fan. It is a wonderful, sweet-natured, and genuinely, if you are a fan of the character, I think you may shed a tear or two. I think it is just a wonderful return for the actress as well as the character. And that is a wrap on my review of Bridget Jones's Baby. To just update you on my video reviews, Next month, I will have the pleasure of attending London Film Festival. I am finally taking the plunge and going after many anxious moments over the years of whether I could cope in that environment. But I'm going to go this year. I've got my films planned. Just to name a couple, I'll be seeing Damien Chazelle's La La Land, and I'll be seeing Xavier Dolan's It's Only the End of the World. Those are like my top two that I really want to see. But in the coming weeks, in the build to LFF, I'll be providing video essays of films that are sort of relevant to the ones I'll be watching. So with La La Land, I'll be revisiting Whiplash of Damien Chazelle's directorial debut with Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. And with Dolan, for example, I'll be revisiting what I consider a masterpiece, Mommy, which was released a couple of years ago and did actually show at LFF as well. But plenty of content on the way, and I hope you can tune in for them. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel below. That would mean a great deal. But that is a wrap for now. I have been Darryl Griffiths. I will speak to you soon, guys. Take care, and I will speak to you very soon. Take care. Thank you very much. See ya.